Little music, please.
New Cupid, New Cupid. Top of chain.
Go mayor, go mayor, go mayor, go mayor, go mayor, go mayor.
Welcome to another episode of the Black Briefing Podcast. We are here, y'all. Episode 5. We're just a little late, and I'm sorry. Okay, we had family things, but we're here now, and that's what matters. In the most critical moment, who can you count on? Of course, it's us, right?
Us.
I'm one of your hosts, Samantha Douglas.
Wild Style for sure.
Greg Merriweather.
And of course, as promised, we are here to talk about the report and all the other crazy things happening with the city council and the mayor's office. Hopefully it helps give you some clarity, but also make sense of just all of this information because there's a ton of it out there. As always, I'll make sure I link everything that we reference and that we talk about in the description so that you can follow along and really know what we're talking about and see in detail. Because, you know, sometimes we give summaries and we paraphrase and we, throw our, spin on it. So I want y'all to actually see what we see too. So that's why we put all that in the description. As always, this episode started with a disclaimer just in case Greg says something crazy. Just playing.
Facts.
But also, yeah, these are just our opinions, y'all. We are just out here wanting to share and educate and inform our community in a way that it helps them discover their power and hopefully get more active and involved in the process and in their community. That's why we do this. I'd like to open with that because I just like to ground us in that so that we know, yes, we have a fun time here, but we do it with a purpose, okay?
True.
So we will start off this episode, even though it's all kind of around the same situation. We're going to break it down into topics. Of course, those will be along the bottom. And so first up today, we're going to talk about the report. The report by Fisher Phillips, which is a firm out of Chicago that the City County Council hired to conduct an investigation around Joe Hogsett's handling of sexual harassment claims against one of his top aides, Thomas Cook. So if you haven't been following like all of the stuff on that, what has happened is two different women have accused him of sexual harassment, sexual assault in one of the cases. Mm-hmm. And they tried to come forward and give that information to the mayor first. And they shared that a ton. As details kept coming out, obviously the need of a real full investigation and into his handling of it and into what happened needed to happen. We have a bit more clarity now. It's going to be one of our last topics, but we have a bit more clarity now about how this investigation came about, and we'll get to that later. But first things first, the report itself. So they just had a meeting. The investigative committee for the City County Council had a meeting with the firm Fisher Phillips, who was not there in person.
They zoomed in.
Which I thought was ridiculous considering they're getting paid almost $500,000.
Yeah.
$450,000, and they can't be there in person. That's wild. And the Republican counselor in the meeting said so as well, and I agreed. But also, there were a few pain points that they got to that they would just stop and said, hey, this should be looked into, but it's out of scope.
Mm-hmm.
As a somebody who has consulted, who's done contracts and stuff, like when you get to something that's out of scope, but that should also be investigated, like I've never had a time where I didn't go back to the client and say, hey, this deserves to be looked into,
Sure.
But it's technically out of scope. Can we add it? Can we also go there? Like it's an upsell.
Yeah, but there seems to be some contention on who was doing what with the. I don't necessarily buy that. Who was it? The Carlino that said that it was her fault that
Krista Carlino,
that the firm didn't come.
Yeah, so she said during the meeting that she said, I think they asked about Zoom or something like that, and she said it would be all right if they Zoomed in. That's what she said during the meeting.
I'm sorry.
You think she's giving them she's bailing them out?
No, I don't. I think that they were told not to come. I just think that it's Chicago. It was what, a 2.5, 3 hour drive if you're
3
slow.
at most.
Yeah, if no matter where you are,
it's within reach.
It's within reach. I think given a $450,000 bill,
I would have flew across the country.
I would drive to California for $450,000.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, for real, no. Yeah,
I believe they were told not to come by somebody, maybe not Carlino, but somebody in the Indianapolis City County Council.
And that was one of the most critical things with this, is that the whole point of getting a firm out of Chicago is so that they didn't have any Indianapolis ties. Like they wanted this to be a legitimate investigation. Well, I'll say this. A lot of them wanted this to be legitimate.
Some of them.
Okay, some of them. Dang, we got to walk it back. Okay, some of them wanted it to be a legitimate investigation.
I think that I remember speaking to a counselor and saying, this is not going to be a good investigation.
Yeah.
I just never believed that it was going to be legitimate.
We found out towards the end. So during the information gathering period, so when they were requesting documents from the mayor's office said they did not have the capacity to hand over. Now, with all the vacancies in his office, that may be true. But they said they did not have the capacity to hand over all of the documents and stuff that Fisher Phillips was requesting. And so they hired a firm themselves to hand over the stuff. And who was it? You betcha it was all the people that were involved in this from the beginning are now at Fager.
I mean, who would know better where to find the documents than the people that did it?
So, but we didn't find that out though until that information gathering period was almost done. So right there in the collection process.
And they did have subpoena power that was not used.
It was not used.
Had subpoena power that was not used. During the presentation about the investigation, they said that they reached out to Thomas Cook multiple times.
And he just simply ignored them.
Ignored them.
Even though they had subpoena power.
Even though they had subpoena power. They did not subpoena him.
Insane. That in itself tells you how much of a sham this was. Having subpoena power. And the guy who is the nucleus of all of it.
Yeah, it's all about him.
It's subpoenaed at all.
It's all about addressing what he did and his behaviors, and whether it was handled appropriately. Was the only person that didn't get interviewed.
Yeah, and that's, in case you're wondering, like, oh, well, what was the result of this investigation? That's another problem. So the results of this investigation was that technically...
according to the report,
because
we have other stuff later on, just according to the report.
According to this report, technically, the mayor did everything he was legally responsible to do. Now, I just want to point out, and I pointed this out on Cameron Riddle's show, Jim Crow was legal. Okay? So I just want us to acknowledge that the American justice system is not probably a good indicator on where our bar should be. Okay.
Sure.
So that's one. Two, and the Republican brought this up during the presentation, their last committee meeting. But also he was like, I didn't realize when we asked like if he handled it well or right, they would focus on what was legal rather than what was morally or ethically
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, because he was like, I feel like all of that's combined. But
I mean, you're dealing with lawyers. One of the things that got me immediately reading the investigation, I read it that night, and it was bad, even though I don't feel like it definitely didn't get all the facts. Let's just say that now. Like, you'll find out later if you didn't know. It didn't get all the facts, but it was bad enough. And one of the things that got me was several times in the report that, was it Fisher Phillips?
Mm-hmm.
Says that because the complainant, the person that was being sexually harassed or abused, did not use the word sexual in the email.
Sexual harassment, yeah.
Yeah, that there was no way for them to know that this apparently needed to be elevated or looked into.
Disgusting.
But then
she said, so they said it was a phone call. Yes, because they said they shared it with the mayor on the phone call.
But that's a later segment.
Okay, yeah.
Right now, this is what the report says.
Okay,
yes, that's true.
You're
This is what the report says.
This is the report.
But they also said in this report that there's a so after he was recommended for termination
for
by
sexual
the HR
misconduct.
For sexual misconduct, okay, that he was allowed to stay on the job for 68 more days. Okay, it was 68. Correct? 68 days. Saying that there were critical projects he was working on that he had to wrap up. But they noted, and I did appreciate this, that they never found such projects.
Well, they said the mayor said the mayor's testimony was that he was working in those critical projects, but he could not remember what those critical projects were.
And they were unable to confirm. I think that's what they said. They were unable to confirm what those projects were. And then they said that they did see where he used that time to set up deals and contracts for himself after leaving that position.
He went on to work on most of that stuff with the Bose law firm.
Yes.
And there's stuff that I know that I probably am not supposed to know and I can't say on the podcast, but he definitely set himself up fairly well. They basically, it feels like the mayor was like, here, I'm busy, you go create your golden parachute yourself.
And
I think it was, I don't know if it was, I'm busy, go create it. I think it was like, you're loyal. And at the end of the day, you've done stuff for me, and I'm basically making sure you're good. And again, I wish this report, I mean, we'll get to it, but I wish they had went further with the investigation than they did personally.
They did specifically cite that the Hogshead administration, and they were clear on this, had created a fraternity-like atmosphere in city government.
Yeah. Yep. And my thing is, especially with you saying create your own golden parachute, what would make him though be so loyal to this person?
I think him knowing him, if I knew where you were on during the George Floyd ordeal, I may have known you. I might know some of your extra friends.
Some of the people you was texting at night.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, I think that when it's all said and done, I think Thomas Cook knows a tremendous amount about Joe Hogshead.
He worked for him before he was even mayor. He worked for him. He worked. Are we good? Okay. So I made this point on Cameron Riddle show. Yo, I was on fire this morning. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Y'all need to go watch that.
Times worse than I've ever been.
No, I wasn't. Okay, let's be clear. Samantha was not.
I was just sitting like
I didn't call anybody prostitutes. So I think I'm okay. But I did say, this is the analogy I use, that if I'm very close with Greg and Greg knows where all my skeletons are, I would make it my business to know where all his skeletons are. And that would be a kind of mutual protection for us both.
And accountability.
Yeah. Accountability, protection. It would also make me a bit indebted to Greg.
Sure.
If something was to go left, I'd probably be inclined to take care of Greg a bit just so that he doesn't expose where my skeletons are. I'm just saying those things would make sense.
And Thomas Cook had worked with Hogshead when he was a U.S. attorney.
And I don't think he was just exceptionally well at good at his job.
That's not what people say. And that this is a part that I really dislike about the report, is that the perception is there. I mean, and this really came from Hogshead, but perception is there is that Thomas Cook was some sort of superhero and he had to be kept on because he was doing work
Yeah.
that nobody else could do. And my knowledge of city government and people that worked with him say in my experiences is that he wasn't very good at what he does and that anybody else could have been doing whatever it is that he was or was not doing.
Well, it's hard to have a good homeboy.
that too.
I mean, at the
Man,
end
maybe
of the
that's
day,
it.
it's like if that's my guy, it's like then that's my guy. Period. That's homeboy number one. So at the end of the day, it's like, nah, I'm gonna make sure you eat, but you take. It's like somebody that it's like Jerome for Morris Day. He's holding the mirror.
And that's what I'm saying. Because even with him hiring him for, after knowing that he's doing this stuff, him hiring for him for his campaign and stuff, it's not something he had to do. There are a lot of incredibly competent campaign managers, people who could have done really well in this spot, women who could have done really well
And
in
their
this
campaign
position.
was not incredibly competent. I
Nope,
said it the whole
it
time.
was
I used
not.
to make jokes about it every single week between him and Jefferson Shreve, like how bad the campaigns were.
Yeah, terrible.
I mean,
They were terrible. Remember his
Again.
commercials? It was terrible.
yeah, it was terrible.
The,
I didn't like the. I didn't like
The what was it? Joe washing the car with the young black
The
boy.
black boy, yeah.
passing the biscuits and praying.
It was
I didn't
terrible.
like none of that.
None
all
of
I
it.
None of
did,
that.
all I did was post it on my Facebook, and people were upset.
I was like,
And
"Where's the father?"
the campaign before that. Remember when they had that black woman on there calling him Hogstead? That's
Uh-huh,
what made
yeah,
us start
Joe
calling him Hogstead.
And when I voted, I wrote in Joe Halstead because that's what I was like. I want that guy. She talked him up,
Did she?
Listen,
and they know I'm not lying because I know somebody could see
I
the
didn't like
ballot. They're
that
like
at
Joe
all.
Halstead. I sure did write it in.
There's one vote for Joe Hogstead.
I
They had to
didn't
have
like
seen
that.
that.
I didn't like the commercial where he was at the table. I didn't like that at all because, yeah, it just
None of that.
rubbed
It
me the
was
wrong way.
nasty.
That I'm asking where the daddy at first of all because I'm like, dang dog, you gonna sit at the head of the table? That'll get you divorced. I'm like, well, since you having dinner with them, what's your wife doing? Just keep it in a buck. For real.
Going
Well,
to another county, getting divorced.
I'm sure that question you asked is going to come up later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just love Joe Hogstead.
So the report, I'm gonna tag it below. You guys can read it. But they went through things like one at a time. You know, when this was reported, we found this. When this happened, we found this. Like they went down and saying legally what.
And
they
part
thought
of the
was.
problem was that some of it started as under Joe Hogsett, the candidate.
Yes.
Sure.
So Joe Hogsett, the candidate, didn't have to know what Joe Hogsett, the mayor, actually knew about this person
That's
that
fair.
wasn't technically in an email
That's
where
fair.
it could be verified.
Yeah. And see, for me, I think it all paints a horrible character.
Mm-hmm.
So because Joe the candidate is still Joe the mayor.
Right.
Like it's the same person going from there to there. So I understand that, but I think, and this is where I think it should have been expanded. This was bigger than the legality of it. This was bigger than him just being mayor. This was painting a whole picture of this super corrupt, toxic environment that he created and carried from his campaigns into the mayor's office, which I think both spaces are our business as Democrats, as fellow Hoosiers, as you know, like I think they're all our business. So I don't want to limit us in that way. And that's some stuff that I disliked. I understand the need to look at it that way, like professionally, legally. And I think, and we're gonna get to this later, but it in some ways it made some of his actions even more inappropriate because he wasn't in that spot yet. So anyway, okay, next one up. Oh, we're getting there quick. Okay, there we are. It's poetic justice.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's poetic justice. It's Poetry Joe.
Poetry Joe.
I mean, the whole administration was apparently about the arts because
Yeah.
Joe and Thomas Cook were like
both into poetry
with the same woman.
with the same woman. The same woman.
So the Indy Star had an explosive article that talked about apparently if there was something that Thomas Cook may have known about it, it was apparently that Joe Hogsett was sending late night texts and having deep poetry discussions with the same woman that he was having deep poetry discussions with.
Yes.
Leaving books for on her desk.
Yeah.
And that unwanted, by the way. All of this is unwanted. You can tell by the way that these women respond to these text messages. You can tell by their actual testimonies. This was another frustration of mine. So these text messages were left out of this report. And Lauren Roberts, one of the victims of this stuff, she sent them 50 pages, y'all. She sent Fisher Phillips 50 pages for them to use this much of it. I mean, that much.
I mean, it completely glossed over the fact that the mayor himself was over there late at night.
Who is that girl?
Presumably, I guess not sitting next to his wife, texting this woman about poetry. And I don't know much about poetry. So
one was, I'm gonna do the Lauren Roberts ones first because hers. So the ones he sent to Lauren Roberts later, because this was 2020, right? Those were from 2020.
So he's well.
He's already mayor, by the way. And those are the creepy ones where he says, he's older than her father. So she needs his approval.
Yeah, about a boyfriend, whose name was redacted in the Indy Star article.
Yes. Then he says, she's like, thanks, but no thanks. And she's like, I don't need that. And then he was like, does he appreciate
how feisty you are?
Yeah, how feisty you are. Creep. And she was like, I would imagine so. And then he's like, easy now.
Easy now. Easy now.
And the mayor is in his 60s at this point.
Yeah, he is. He's more than twice her age. More than twice her age. It's disgusting, y'all. It's disgusting.
Imagine the Cupid shuffle playing in the background.
We have a clip. You don't have to imagine it.
You
don't have to imagine him doing the Cupid
hear
shuffle.
that in the background.
Oh my god!
I was
Cupid.
Easy now.
Easy now. Oh, that is so
I feel sorry for women that have to go through this with an old man like that too.
Yeah.
Like that's nasty.
Any man that wears unwanted,
yes,
like it's gross.
And the most powerful man in the city.
The most powerful man in the city. So before that, the earlier text messages to Ellert were from 2015, right? And this is when he was a candidate, right? Yeah,
I don't remember which one was which, but I know he was texting them both.
2015. So this is when he was a candidate, and he's asking her. So they're already texting late about some other stuff, and then he asked her about so he's begging her for her advice on something, which he never actually says what that is. And I don't think she has said what that
Yeah, they didn't put it in the article what it was. But
he's begging her, like Keith Sweat in these text messages for her, saying how much he values her advice or perspective or whatever. And then
really begging. Like,
yes, he was begging.
It's wild.
No, please.
It is
he
wild.
said the word please.
The most powerful man, in the Democratic Party at the time is begging this woman.
Now, I want to point out, and I said this on Cameron Riddle's show, it was so disgusting, all of the elected officials that said, oh, well, late night text is normal for a campaign. Okay, so let me tell you something. One, she was not working for his campaign. She was the Democrat Party executive director at the time. They did not need to talk at 9-something at night. They didn't. That was not.
And if they did, it certainly wasn't about what they were talking about.
And then two, it was creepy ad text messages asking about her preference in poetry,
because he said he would read it that night.
Yes, I'm gonna read it this night. I'm gonna read it tonight. Which one do you prefer? And he said The Wasteland or the love song by whatever
T.S.
that.
Eliot.
No, I know, but it was like the love song by
The love song
whatever.
of this one guy.
Oh
Yes,
by
yes.
T.S. Eliot.
Now,
by T.S. Eliot.
yeah,
So
it
they're
was.
both T.S. Eliot.
I read. I didn't read the poem. I just read the Wikipedia article, and I was just like, I'm not into that sort of
Too.
like sexual angst type of poetry.
Sexual
I mean, that's what it was. That was what they were basically. I was like,
That
whoa.
is crazy. So let me tell y'all, because I did a similar kind of thing with AI. And I just had AIs like, just tell me what these things are about. And I'll let you guys decide. So the first one he asked about was The Wasteland. And it's a complex modernist poem that explores the spiritual and cultural crisis of the Western world in the aftermath of World War I. It's often considered one of the most important poems of the 20th century, blah, blah, blah. But at its core, it's focused on the decay and disillusionment in modern society. So it portrays a world that has lost its meaning, vitality, and spiritual purpose. It's a wasteland. Okay, so
Sound
that's
like the streets of Indianapolis.
okay. So that's the first one. The second one it's the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. And it says, despite the title, it's not a love song in the traditional sense. Y'all listen to this. Instead, it's a dramatic monologue by J. Alfred Prufrock, a middle-aged man full of self-doubt, indecision, and regret. The poem explores his internal thoughts as he contemplates making a romantic or emotional confession, but ultimately he never does. So he's asking her to choose between this one that talks about a decaying society and, whatever, or this one where this middle-aged man is tore up over the fact that if he's going to make this confession or not.
And it's
like,
it's really
y'all.
like sexual
That'll get you a
angst.
divorce.
It's terrible.
Come on now. That is not... one, it's completely inappropriate and out of bounds for any kind of campaign talk or anything you should be sending somebody that late at night, unwanted, not your wife, all of that, and half your age. It's disgusting. Let's be clear. But
and
also
to a subordinate.
into a subordinate. Yes, like you're building power in this party, and she's the executive director. She's employed by the party. And also, this is the point too for the Democrat Party, who said none of this stuff they can't do anything about blah, blah, blah. She was an employee of the party when this stuff happened.
Well, they certainly didn't protect
And
her.
what is she supposed exactly? And not only did they not protect her, they had nothing in place for her to use once she was violated in this way.
Sure.
She had nowhere to go, nobody she could talk to. And that's why you don't see her as visible, because all of this stuff is very traumatizing for her, having to go back and recount all of this horrible time in her life. Like this is disgusting, and this has impacted and changed people's lives.
What kind of going backwards, what kind of gets to me is it seems as if in the report they tried to make sure nothing was illegal.
Yeah, they did.
It seems as if they were like, okay, well, let's make sure that we omit anything that could be deemed illegal.
Right.
And
like
then,
distasteful can stay, but
Yeah.
we don't want anybody to think anything was illegal.
I think they took that out.
And that's and truly, I think it was just a trying to protect his position and power thing. Like, because we can't technically, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but we can't technically force him to resign, especially without like legal things.
Sure.
But this is incredibly inappropriate and disgusting. Like I don't even know how we don't acknowledge that. Like, and I hate that they keep shining a light on Thomas Cook, and he's horrible, of course. Like all the things that he's allegedly done is horrible. But this is disgusting too.
But I mean, I think about like the helplessness and hopelessness of these women.
Oh.
You have the most powerful man in the Democratic Party, and then eventually the most powerful man in the city.
Yeah.
He's sending these late night texts about trying to do this. And then you have the second most powerful man sending the same stuff to the same women.
Yep.
And also telling them that.
And taking it a step further.
Yeah, taking it a step further with or without consent, and saying, let me get you drunk and you can tell me which committee position that you want in 2 years. So basically, this was a culture of
Yep.
You wanna thrive. You want your career to do good. Well, then you're gonna do what we want.
Yeah.
But we're watching Hollywood cases of this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where people are now sitting on trial for whatever, I don't know, people are getting RICO'd when people are saying, if you don't do this, then I'll do this. Or if you do this, I'm gonna do this back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Retaliation.
And so you're hearing, I mean, even in the article that we just saw, I think Russ McQuaid may have done, where he talked about counselors being even scared to say something
Yes.
because of the retaliation.
Yep.
That has to be illegal in some way because a lot of stuff is basically on the table. And I know that there's a lot of quid pro quo going on. So when I look at this, I'm just like, they need to start telling the truth because I think that this is a far bigger story than what we know right now.
And they can't do their jobs.
They can't
No,
do their
they
Like
jobs.
how can you do your job well in fear of retaliation in that way? And that's I
Sure.
said this on Cameron's show, but it's like we should all be angry. We should all be angry because if your counselor cannot effectively represent you in the way that you've elected them and put them in position of power to do, we should all be upset.
We're being
Because-
disenfranchised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And not just that, they'll talk about how like jobs will get delayed, projects will get delayed, things like that. That's stuff that impacts your everyday life. Why ain't your potholes being prioritized? Why? Oh, well, maybe your counselor actually told the mayor the truth.
Yep.
And that's why you got to hit that pothole and replace your tires 4 times
Yeah.
in a year. Maybe that's why. That's disgusting,
Yeah,
y'all.
because
We should
basically
all be
what he's
angry by
saying
that.
is, I will make you look like a failure if you challenge me.
And then
Yes.
and then we'll primary. We'll run somebody against you in the
Yep.
primary,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then make you spend a whole bunch of money, and your constituents will hate you because you didn't fix the potholes, but I actually told DPW not to fix them.
Exactly. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. It's abusive.
It's
of-
definitely
yeah.
abusive.
Yes, it
It's
is.
an abuse of power.
It's an abuse of power.
Yeah.
It's an abuse of power.
I agree.
And that's so. I wanted to actually tell y'all what this poetry was about because I don't think people are acknowledging that he presented her with an option of like, are you more interested in this, a philosophical community decay, or are you more interested in this love confession from a middle-aged man? You know what I mean? Like that.
It'll get you
That.
divorced.
Let me tell you,
In a whole
no,
other
for real.
county.
In a whole nother county.
I know you're not giving that girl T.S. Eliot poems, are you?
Okay.
I just saw you in a commercial with her handing biscuits out.
She was over it. I wish
Texting at 9
boy,
p.m. in
I wish
poetry
his,
and eating and handing biscuits out.
I
Boy,
wish his wife would write a
you're gonna
book.
get divorced.
I mean, the rumor is that there's an NDA and all of
There's a
that.
settlement and an NDA. Yeah, because
Gotta be.
I would love
It's
to.
got to be.
Because I'm like, I mean, was you laying in bed with your wife when you was texting these women all the time
No.
at night about poetry?
No. And they were talking about in the article too, the women often say that they were like erratic and stuff like his messages.
Mm-hmm.
And that all y'all listen.
It's only
I can't say-
9:36 p.m.
But first he said it was 9:36 a.m. Then he corrected himself.
Yeah, just
to say
corrected.
it was 9:36 p.m.
Sitting there like,
I mean, we're not making this up. It's all in the article.
It's all in the article. It's all in the article that are tagged in the description.
I mean, what did he tell his wife? I'm sorry, honey. I'm on the line with DPW trying
But
to get
it
these
was
roses.
crazy.
Yeah, he's trying to.
it was
Oh,
crazy
it's
though.
campaign stuff. I just have
Campaign
to
stuff.
text.
It was crazy when Lauren said that she sent the text to his wife,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that. That's in the
Yes.
report.
Yep.
and she said,
she didn't respond.
she said, it has nothing to do with Joe, so
She
don't
said,
worry.
don't worry. It has nothing to do with Joe.
Having to
that
preface,
Yikes.
well, you have to preface. I'm not getting him in trouble for what he's been doing
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
telling
about
you
time.
I just
anymore.
want this other man. Can y'all get him stopped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like you. So her saying that lets me know that there's more to it.
Yes. That there's
It's
that
not
there's
about him.
Yeah. Like don't worry. Don't
This
worry.
time.
It's not
Yeah.
it's
Don't
not about
worry.
him this time.
Yeah.
Just Thomas Cook. That's insane. That is so nasty. God, this is such nasty work.
What's
Okay.
nasty is the silence, but we'll yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
Forced
Okay.
silence if necessary. But
Yeah.
anyway.
So the next part of this fiasco. So we have this report. We have
nasty
obviously
report.
these claims and stuff. We have the articles about the mayor's text message and stuff, and enter Monday's city council meeting. Okay. It was a
Let's get
full
ready.
council meeting. It was a full council meeting. And on the agenda, there was a fiscal item that included the final payment to Fisher Phillips. Okay.
Sure.
And because it included that final payment to them, the victims and some of the victims, not just of this sexual harassment and stuff like that, but also victims of the workplace culture that he set in the mayor's office, decided to come to the city council meeting. And during public testimony of this particular part of the agenda.
And I want to jump in.
Mhm.
To preface this, also the Indy Star made it very clear with the women that they were interviewed in that report that they felt, and they made it publicly clear too in their own, that the report victim blamed them, and there were factual elements of the report that were wrong.
Sure.
Yes.
That they were factually wrong. The Indy Star covered all of this, and so basically, this report mistold their abuse stories.
Yep.
Correct.
And then made a judgment based on that.
Based on that. Also, the fact that the mayor, it all hinged on the mayor saying that he didn't hear the word sexual, but she actually called him.
Yes.
Sure.
So there was all types of room, and the fact that nobody in city council of authority would go meet with these women before Monday's council meeting.
Sure.
They would not communicate with them. They would not meet with them.
So now we're in
Now,
that's
Yes.
yeah, let's pick up.
And at the council, I forgot in the committee meeting too. Lauren was actually on FaceTime on Elise Schrock's phone, and they were playing it in the committee meeting, and they wouldn't even listen or give time to that. So in the committee meeting, they would not hear from the victims or their perspective of this report. Also, they were told they would have a copy of the report before it went like full public, or that the public would have it or
Right,
whatever.
right,
They
right.
did not.
Did
They
not.
said they would then. So they finally pressed and pressed and pressed. Even in the meeting, Counselor Andy Nilsson had to say, like, as soon as the meeting adjourned, he's like, okay, first of all, can we send out this report now? Like, can it be sent now?
Because it's these
Now
women's
it's over.
stories.
Yes, it's their story. And that's what they kept saying this too. They're like, we are being laid to bear in front of everybody.
Mhm.
And we haven't even seen this stuff.
We don't know what you're saying about us.
don't know what you're saying about us.
And the report, again, was inaccurate. It was
Yep.
proven to be inaccurate by the Indy Star.
And
Yep.
what we need for you to understand is we paid for the report.
We paid
Mhm.
$450,000.
That's right.
Or agreed to pay.
Agreed to pay.
Mhm.
So yes. So now they were
$1,000.
so now we're in the meeting and we're at if we need to pay the rest of the 300,000.
Yes, it was no, I think it was down to 150.
No, it's 300. It was another 300.
Oh, it's another
Yeah, it was
$300.
$300,000
Oh,
payment.
okay. We've paid the 150 and it was down to
Yeah,
300.
correct.
Oh, okay. So we're in this meeting and I decided to go. We all decided to
yeah,
go.
we're there.
We all decided to go.
And we did not sit together. Which
And
makes it
no, we
phenomenal.
didn't. I was up in the front next to the victims, whilst I was on the side recording.
No, I was all the way in the
hilariously.
back
All in
at
the
first.
back.
I was
But
in
it-
the
well-
last row.
By the time I seen you, you
Yeah.
were up and recording them dragging her out. But and then I never seen Greg. We
I
was
didn't
just
see
texting.
Greg either.
I'm somewhere in
We
the
was just
middle.
texting. We was just texting. So this meeting starts, and obviously it's packed. The room is packed, and people are holding signs saying Joe needs to resign. They're holding
Mhm.
signs of the picture of Joe eating pizza with Thomas Cook in the back, giving the middle
Middle
finger.
Mhm.
Like, it's a whole thing. And this proposal finally comes up. Finally comes time for them to share. Now, unless you are absolutely positively under a rock or not a city county councilor, okay, or involved or know anything about this, you knew this was going to happen. This was coming.
And they did know that everybody was coming.
Yes.
They were very aware.
They were very aware. That's important. So they get up. Lauren speaks first. She gets up.
This
She
is public
start-
comment. Like this
Public
was
comment.
or standard procedure. You're supposed to give public comment for what they're voting on.
Yep.
She didn't get up out of turn.
She did not get up. She signed up. All of them signed up beforehand like you're supposed to at the meeting. So when you come in the meeting, there's a sign-up sheet. If you ever want to speak, there's a sign-up sheet sitting on the podium almost always. You go up there, you fill out who you are and stuff, and then you go up one at a time once the time comes for public comment to give your comments. There is a 2-minute timer for each one of those. We'll have more about that. But yeah, you come up and you can speak. So she comes up first. She starts her statement. Immediately is interrupted by Maggie Lewis first.
Yes, Maggie Lewis.
Immediately. And what did she say? She said point of information?
Point of order or something like that.
Something. And she asked about it being relevant.
Yeah,
to
the
this,
germane.
right?
Is this germane and all of this?
Yeah. Is it relevant? Did she say germane too? No, she didn't.
That they all say. That's what they say. It has to be germane to the.
Okay. Anyway, so she interrupts her immediately. Okay. And she's like, so Lauren looks at Samuel Osley and asked him, is this about the Fisher Phillips, blah, blah, blah? Is that included in this? And they were like, yes. She was like, okay, well, this is about that. You know? So she's quiet. She starts to speak again. And this time Samuel interrupts her. The president of the council.
VOP. Just so people don't get it confused.
Vop's real name is Samuel.
Right. He
gave himself the name Vop because it's voice of the people.
Well, he says, and it's funny because it came out on one of my statuses that he has a different story, like depending on where he is for how we got the name Voice of the People with Vop.
Okay, well, let me tell you.
Kind of like the Joker got his scars in The Dark Knight. There's a different story he tells every time.
We refuse to call him Voice of the People.
Yeah.
I absolutely refuse. His mama called him Samuel. I'm going to call him Samuel. Period.
I'm going to call him Vop because I prefer to be called Wild Stuff, so I'm not going to do that with him. But
That's fine.
That's fine.
I prefer to be called my government name, so I'm going to call him his. Samuel.
But when I say VOP, I know it means voice of the predator or voice of the poet.
My husband is back here shook. You thought that was his real name. He is.
No, he's
Nigerian.
His father is Nigerian. His mother, they met at either Purdue or IU, and I can't remember which one. And he was born over here.
Oh, I thought he was born there.
No, I mean he'll make it seem like that, but he was born here.
And then he said he's lived in Howville.
Is his mom?
I ain't never seen him a day
Nigerian?
in life.
No, his mom is.
She just black?
No,
She's black
his
American?
mom went to Crispus Attucks. That he comes
really.
He comes from a deep black bourgeois family.
Oh, okay.
Well,
anyway,
I never seen him in Howville.
Samuel Osley.
I think his middle name is very Nigerian sounding though, but I can't remember.
His name is Samuel.
But it is
But his name is Samuel.
Government name.
So the president of the council, like we just said, interrupts her.
Miss Boebert? Miss Boebert.
Miss Boebert.
Like Lauren Boebert, the right-wing congresswoman that's like completely insane.
From Colorado.
And then he calls her that.
Just to point this out, where Lauren Roberts moved to,
and works in politics.
And works in politics. So some say he's trying to.
I think they was razzing her. I think they was trying to get a reaction out of her, make her look crazy.
And I just thought it was dumb because if you Google, because Lauren Boebert, fun fact, her maiden name is Roberts, Lauren Roberts. And I thought, not this man just Googled Lauren Roberts, Colorado to see who she is and got her confused with Lauren Boebert. I don't know. Either way, it's horrific. Okay. Either way, it's horrific.
But he does it twice.
He does do it twice.
And then she had to correct him.
And she does.
And they kept the clock running.
And she asked about the clock. And he said, actually, the time hasn't even started. But just to be clear, he lets her know, you have 2 minutes. And she said, well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to finish this statement. So feel free to have the sheriffs escort me out. But I'm going to finish this statement. Right? Because she's never been able, they had a whole investigative committee and she was never able to actually talk to them.
And they missed.
She never presented to the committee. committee.
And they mistold her story and put it in the press.
Yes.
And then refused to talk to her.
Disgusting. They didn't talk to either one of them. Okay. So that's one. And then two, she's tried to reach out to them individually. And outside of just like a couple of them, they refused to hear her. And so so they pressed her, and we're telling you the story in this way on purpose because we want you to understand her desperation as she comes for public comments at a full council meeting because she's been left no choice.
Yep.
She's went to Hogsett. She's went to the press. She's went to counselors. They've done this investigative committee. She tried to go to them. She tried to testify and say something in the investigative committee. She has tried every single outlet, lane, road that was there. She tried it. Okay. So this is another one, the next one after 50,000 other things that she's trying. Okay. So she gets up there. And she doesn't make it. She gets to the 2-minute mark, and Greg tells us the best way. So there's a little buzzer.
And he lays on the buzzer.
when they run out of
But they
time.
had already interrupted her.
He lays on the buzzer.
They had already interrupted her.
After those 2 times, he let her just go.
He's like, you are done.
Yeah. At 2 minutes, he said, "You're done."
You're done.
But it was right after.
And just help
It was
them.
after she said that Jesse Brown was one of the few people that
Yeah.
would help.
Yeah.
That didn't help
And
her.
after that, that's
You
when-
are done.
Yeah.
And-
Ms. Roberts, you are done.
Yes.
You are done.
And
And he's like, Sheriff,
got the
Take
sheriff.
anybody that's speaking.
anybody speaking.
Anybody that's speaking.
He
out.
said, get him out of here.
Yes. So the people around her, the people that were with her and that were also going to speak, some of the Democrat socialists that were there, they all surrounded her so that they gave her literally like a human shield to
Yep.
these sheriffs so that she could finish her statement.
But
okay?
see,
Big brother came through brawling.
But a Marion County sheriff, you ain't never seen a skinny Marion County sheriff, so they came in bigger about twice the size of the human shield that was around her and
Jesus, Mary and
started
Joseph.
dragging people
My
out.
brother, he pushed the man's shirt till it flopped up in the front.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
And then they had the old retiree came in after the other ones got the people out of the way, and he starts fondling Elise Schrock.
Oh
right?
yeah, grabbing her breast. as
Literally, she had to
she's
tell
like,
him to quit grabbing
Yeah,
her
please
breast
quit grabbing
in
my
front of
breast.
Vop as he's watching.
Yeah, Bob didn't even, he
He
was
just
like,
sit
this.
over there like,
people said, listen, people said, so one of the people that testified, Maggie, who also worked for the mayor's office, she got up later and said in her statement that Bop was smiling while this stuff was going on. Now, I don't know if people have that on video. I hope
I tried to zoom
somebody does.
in on him on my video. That's
Did
the one
you?
on Black Indie Live. Yeah.
Okay, I could not, I have
was like
not,
this.
I didn't see it.
he
Okay,
seemed,
he
he seemed to be quite pleased
He was
with
pleased.
the women getting
And then
manhandled.
she
and
heard
everything.
Ron Gibson, the counselor, he was sitting all the way in the top. She heard him say she should be arrested.
Mhm. Yeah, because he's an
Mike.
idiot. And his mic was on. It was a live mic,
He
Ron.
said she should be arrested. Martindale Brightwood. I'm telling y'all know what to do. Y'all do not have to have him.
He should
okay?
be arrested for bootlicking in a public meeting. That was indecent. That was indecency.
Indecent exposure?
Indecent exposure. Bootlicking right there. Come on, man.
I'm really feeling proud right now. I'm rubbing off on y'all so well. That this is
ain't, no, you not.
I watched Samantha this morning go ham on
did.
Fox 59, and I
I
just sat
did.
there like this. And now I'm listening to Wild
No,
Style
because
say
I'm
he
fed
should
up.
go to jail for bootlegging. That is amazing.
I mean,
I'm fed up,
look,
y'all.
they have the more extreme their behavior is, the more
That's a
extreme my
fact.
behavior is going to be.
No, for real, you guys are dragging this thing to hell. And let me tell you, a lot of us are willing to go there.
Oh yeah,
with
we gonna go together.
you want to go? Listen, I love Michelle Obama, but you go low, baby. We gonna go with
lower.
you.
We gonna go lower.
until further notice. We are going there with you because we're sick of it. Honestly,
I
and
was so disappointed watching. I mean, just for me, this is just me speaking as a black person. I was disappointed watching the black politicians,
that's a fact.
and I was just like,
I was
"Dang,
too.
y'all!"
It's embarrassing.
But
It is
it's like,
embarrassing.
how are
It
it
is
would be
embarrassing.
so different if our communities were thriving,
Right.
Yep.
and they sit there and they are loyal. you know, I hear my brother on the east side talking about, well, we got a grocery store and we got this building. I said the groceries are high and if you did
Who said that?
grades.
Why did you do that?
I'm sorry.
and then if you do get the clinic, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's the clinic because everybody over there eating chips and stuff all day because they can't afford the grocery store.
All we have is convenience stores.
Yeah, y'all duped us and
Gas
said that was
stations.
black owned.
Jeez.
And I'm gonna leave that alone.
I mean, black people.
Oh my
I mean, this
God.
type of loyalty to a white man, where you'll risk your career and safety to have a white woman drug out. Our community ought to be doing a lot better. And I live in Vop's community.
That's a fact.
So I got stories.
That's what,
You
and that's
hear
what.
me?
This morning Cameron was asking us. So you think he shouldn't be married because of this? He shouldn't be married. No, because of all the things
Oh,
he
it's-
sucks to begin with.
Yeah.
But then you throw on top of it, he's also just incredibly inadequate as a leader internally in his office. Leading himself. Like that's
If his lack
His
of
character.
rhythm aligns with his crookedness.
you know what I mean.
I mean,
Because if you're crooked, let me tell you, if I walk around like this and I try to make everything in the world line up to this,
Yeah.
it's all crooked.
It's all crooked.
If I'm crooked, it's all crooked.
I look at some simple stuff. I mean, look, let me take my glasses off for this. For any white folks watching, black folks, we have a thing like it's almost like you could call it the white woman index. And when white men and white society, like they treat white women, not just white women in general, but white women around them, like people that have access to them and their wives, badly, poorly, like disrespectfully, abusively, violently, in public and private ways. We know when that goes on, we already know as black folks how we gonna get treated and how we've been treated.
Sure.
Like you'll do it to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. There are no boundaries, nothing.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And this is the thing. I usually give us a little understanding when it comes to that stuff because a lot of us are trying to figure out like what's our battle, what's not.
Sure.
They're trying to be strategic. They're trying to make sure that certain things don't get in the way of their ability to serve their district well, which is what ultimately they feel like they're responsible to, And while giving understanding and all of that, it is disgusting to think not one of them, though, not one could say that everything that's going on, all of this is horrendous.
Yeah.
The way that those victims were treated in that meeting, the way that the mayor handled this sexual harassment, these late night text messages and inappropriate behavior that he's exemplified, all of it is unacceptable and disgusting for a mayor to do. That's what, at the very least, could you just say that? Like that's what upsets me. Like, can you just acknowledge how horrific this is for the people who are living through this? Because let's be clear, he has a whole office of people that are living through this toxic culture right now.
So when you allow Lakeisha, you gave her the mic and she used the mic for as long as she wanted.
Yeah, so
I'm going to give y'all a real disgusting fact too. So I think it was Channel 13 recorded Lauren's statement outside of the building, outside of the City County Council building. And y'all will not even believe how long it was. It was 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
So
15 seconds.
So maybe if people hadn't been interrupting her the whole time, calling her Miss
Literally.
Boebert, asking about the Jermaine, and they say they stopped the clock, but they didn't stop the clock.
Stop the clock.
They did not stop. They were lying. They were gaslighting her, just like she was gaslit by the mayor.
Yep.
And that whole administration. It's gross. And Lakeisha Jackson, State Senator Lakeisha Jackson, had been honored only like 30 minutes before in a meeting for her 10 years as a city councilor. And they let her ramble on for, it had to have been at least 10 minutes, I thought. Like she was talking about her time as a counselor. So we can't act like, Robert's rules is that restrictive that you can't do this, or it wasn't enough time. You had the time.
You had the time. And considering you had never given them any other time.
You owed them the time.
You couldn't give her an extra 15 seconds? 15 seconds. I was like, y'all, come on now. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. And let me tell you this, though. It felt amazing in the room to look up at my counselor, and he's just like, because he has already called for the mayor's resignation.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you
But he was also the person who said something in the meeting.
Yes.
You know, he was the first person to be like, yeah, we probably, but it's another thing to go back to another meeting where people were getting thrown out.
Yeah.
You know.
And I
that's gonna be that's a later
okay.
topic.
Is it?
It's a later topic.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I have a
It's a
story
later
about that
topic.
too.
Yeah, that's a later topic.
But I will say this,
But this-
they get mad when we bring him up. You know, I hear the complaints of other counselors, you know, those that are black. They get mad about when we bring Jesse up.
Brown up.
But you know, I think,
but he speaks up.
and
He does.
and I think that Vop might have let her finish until she said the magic words Jesse Brown, and then he snapped. I mean, you could see it on his face, like
not the magic word.
the magic words when she talked about that Jesse Brown that helped her. I mean, that was immediately. And that's when
that's where the magic
Roberts,
left.
You're done.
you're done.
You're done.
You're done. Remove anybody speaking.
Yeah, they took them all out. They took them out. But let me tell y'all, I wanted to say this just from a black perspective. And I'm listen, this is not shade. I love my white friends. But let me tell you, when y'all started saying shame in that city council meeting, y'all, I lost my mind. Okay. It was
I
a
did
laugh
too.
that I needed so very bad.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes, because that's all I could imagine. I was like, oh, people do this in real life.
I've
Like,
been a few places.
shame.
I've been a few places
Shame.
like that.
I was like, oh, snap. That is hilarious. And then the part two, y'all got to watch this recording because, listen, what they do to Lauren is horrific. I don't want to make light of that. But it was what was happening around that was, oh my God, pure comedy. Because there's something else she says I wanted to bring up too. But because there's somebody in there where they're like, this isn't leadership. And somebody said, yes, it is.
Yeah, I looked over there.
They were right in front. They were right behind me. The person that said that.
Because I was filming. I looked over. I was like,
It
what?
was like the whole crowd.
I was
This
like-
is not leader.
It was
Yes,
literally
it
like
is.
when in Coming to America, he's like, who told you that? When everybody turned and looked, that's how the crowd stopped. When somebody
Yeah,
said,
it was.
"Yes,
Everybody,
it is."
Yes,
everybody
it
looked
is.
back there like, who said that?
I was like,
Man,
wow.
y'all, I was up there. I'm so glad. The picture that the media got of me is I'm so serious and intently looking, and I'm so grateful because if they had caught me in that moment, they would have not have known what I was laughing at. And I was, y'all, in tears. I was in tears up there because I could not handle it. Between the shame, and the yes, it is, I couldn't do it. But that's what I wanted to bring up. So as they're dragging Lauren out, she's still saying things and stuff. And so she kind of makes it, she gets away from the sheriffs a little bit and kind of like goes up the side aisle. And she asked him, does he have a daughter? And he's like, yes. And she's like, oh, good for you. And then he was like, walk out of here like a lady. That's what he said.
This was
and
the
she
one
said-
that had fondled Elise, isn't it?
I don't know if it was the same one. I don't know. But we
about
can
the
go back and
sheriff,
find
right?
out. Yeah. And she said, did you just tell me to walk out of here like a lady? He said, yes. She said, go f- yourself. And this is the whole room.
crap.
Like, y'all should have heard.
Oh.
It was the gasps for me. That was where they were like, like nobody had heard the F-bomb before. And I was just like, y'all, are you kidding me?
it's quite
Are you kidding me? And y'all are in this room?
After which I just witnessed, I mean,
After which
a woman getting like
You're not-
fondled in front of the
Exactly.
city council president who
One
ordered
brother
it.
was doing too much.
Who ordered
And he
it?
was smiling as it was going
The
on.
one sheriff was doing. The one brother, the sheriff, he was doing way too much.
Oh,
I mean,
he
what
was doing
type of
a lot.
man? What type of man orders something like that? Sees a woman getting fondled in front of him that he ordered, and is just smiling like
Why
doesn't
don't
even.
you at least? My thought was too, though, for the sheriffs that came up, and I don't know about protocol and stuff for them, but they didn't even come up and be like, "Hey, let us get to her," or "Hey, calm down, let's you know what I mean?" Like they didn't try any of that. That black sheriff came straight
There
up,
was some
grabbed
tussling. Yeah,
Devin
there
like
was some
this, and had
tussling.
him. hit
and he was like 3 sheriffs in one,
He was a big dude.
and so was the other boy. He was about 2.5
Yeah, he was a
sheriffs
big
in one.
dude. But
That's how the Marion County sheriffs save money. Like, one salary, but the size of 2 or 3 people.
But the bad thing about that is, as a citizen, we talked about this earlier. Those people are doing what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
They're doing what they were following orders.
Yes.
On a Monday evening, 7 o'clock. These are the people who say, I'm involved in politics. I'm involved in my community. It means enough for me to show up. And you kick these people out regularly.
Yes.
So I have to tell my story.
So hold on. Okay, so we'll switch to 2. So let's go to the non-apology first.
Okay,
we'll go to the non-apology.
Well, can we get into because I think that can lead into the non-apology.
Yeah,
your story.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
so. Before all of this happened last year, not the meeting that Greg immortalized in our previous podcast. It was a meeting several before that, but it was Palestinian protesters.
Yeah,
and VOP ordered the sheriffs to remove them. And this was like right after the Thomas Cook stuff that came out, and I said, VOP is my counselor, and I was like, you know what, he's probably going to be mayor, and I need to have a conversation with him about democracy, and that's not how it was. That's not how it was supposed to do.
Sure.
So he sat down. We had a great conversation, and I told him, I looked him in the eye, I said, VOP, that is fascism. I said, as authoritarian, that these people. Y'all don't answer emails most of the time, and they have no other way to actually give you any type of feedback. I said, and I gave him solutions. I said, you know what? You could talk to them outside and agree to let several of them speak or whatever, all of this, but ignoring them isn't going to work. I really thought he was listening. Like, we had a great conversation. And then the next time they came, they put feet on the back of people's wheelchairs and wheeled them on out. So
the first dude they took out, they had him kind of his hands behind his back.
It was terrible.
And he yelled out, "VOP, you piece of." I was saying, like, this is good stuff. But then they put the back of that wheelchair and lifted that dude up. He's like, ah.
So VOP has been here before, but he's been warned about it. I told him that he was going to get the city in legal trouble.
I've been saying that for the longest. It's like, how do you throw these people out who actually show up? These are not homebody citizens.
Yeah.
These are people who show up. I can't imagine. And I apologize to any of my friends who are in wheelchairs. But I couldn't imagine being a person who has to go through that, and then I'm in a wheelchair, and you make the decision to throw me out. Absolutely, you are inhumane at that point.
And threw out the second one just purely because he was confused.
He was like, I thought we already threw him out. Get away. Because I threw out the wrong one the first time.
And he said, didn't I throw you out? He said, it wasn't me. He was like, get him out.
Oh, my God.
He did it just like that, too. He was like, get him out of here.
Yo, but when he said, VOP, you piece of...
VOP, you piece of...
Instead of VOP, he's a POS.
Yeah.
But it's so bad because you know the bad part about all this, y'all. You have to be there to see it.
Jesus.
But it's bad when the people, once they go out the door and you still hear them in the house. That's the roughest part. I can't believe this. You hear the door and they go out the door and they still in the hallway yelling. It's just, it's sad.
I mean, VOP runs that city council chamber like a mafia boss. And that's exactly how he would run the city.
Remember,
that's softly spoken.
Remember how
that's how they all are.
Because he thinks if you stay calm, take them.
I am Sidney Poitier Shakur.
Mr. Roberts, you're done. Like
you're done.
No,
he said it with his face like you are done.
You are done. Oh yeah, he did.
You're done.
Get them out of here.
He said anyone who is speaking, get them all out of here.
Yeah, it's no.
And then he looked and did like his.
I mean, he's like a mafia boss. Like he like doesn't value democracy.
But again, it took Jesse to say it in even one of those meetings. He said, "I don't think we have the power to basically shut those voices down.
Yeah.
We need to let them people say what they need to say. And Bob was
Yeah.
like, well, today, remember? He's like, well, today I'm going to do it this way. Remember? He said that. I remember that.
And tomorrow too, and the day
tomorrow,
after that.
and the month
It's
after
my
that.
way or the highway.
And the sheriffs
And
are here
that-
for it.
That's so.
Like, they get the angriest sheriffs ever to get to work in there.
Or they just ready to go. Like they on go time.
I have it on good authority that they knew that, and that them big boys was in there for a reason.
Yeah.
They knew he knew he
Yeah.
was going to
I
do
bet
that.
Bob had a huddle with him and was like, all right,
This is
this is the
this is
meeting.
what I'm gonna say. This
And
is
if
what
you
you're
have to
gonna
slam
do.
them up against the wall too,
On three.
Oh my
1,
God.
2, 3, go.
Oh no!
Break.
no.
Yeah. Break.
Oh my
Yes,
god!
I'm sure he had a meeting with him before the meeting.
Oh,
so he issued. So Bob issued, and I don't.
regrets.
I was gonna say I kept seeing titles saying an apology,
But it wasn't. I misspoke when I said it.
there was no apology. There was no apology in the whole thing. So he goes in there and talks about, and I will make sure I link it. But he talks about how he regrets, what they did and blah blah. And I'm sure he does. However,
But not for the right reasons.
yeah, definitely not for the right reasons. And then secondly, this is not your first time doing this.
Or your second time doing
Or
it.
your second time doing this.
Or
is
your third time doing
Oh my
this.
God, it's not your third
No,
time.
it's not. I've been there before.
Oh Lord Jesus. See, like we can't do that. We cannot. And this time it was especially egregious because it was the victims themselves.
Mhm.
She flew in, she crowdfunded and flew in from Denver just to come to this meeting to give this testimony.
Didn't they
And
put out
y'all
the animal
threw
people?
her out.
Didn't they put out the animal people?
I don't know.
They put out. I've been there. They put out a lot of people.
Oh, they
over
did
there.
put him
That's
out.
insane.
Oh, yeah. Like
they
he-
did.
That is insane.
He does not want to hear from people. He does a. He is
but
an
he's the
authority-
voice of the people.
right. Well, because
How's that?
How
See,
ironic.
he was. He's
And
kind
that's
of
why
like,
he's
well,
Samuel.
how can I be the voice of the people if you over here talking?
That's a fact.
Make it make sense,
terrible.
right? we
can I be the
both
voice if
can't
you
be the
over there
voice of the people
talking?
now.
Okay,
Voice.
girl. It's only one.
That's terrible.
That
I was
is
trying to
out of
find the
pocket.
apology.
That is out. But all of the statements that came out of the council were weak. I seen other ones like, oh, I'm so hated seeing the victim, but y'all didn't say nothing.
And-
As they were being drug out, they didn't say anything.
It was only a few counselors that said something about
After the fact.
After the fact. Actually, one was it Bain? Was it
Evans.
Yeah.
Jared Evans, he stood up.
He stood up.
He stood
Yeah, it
up.
was
He
Jared.
got up
Yeah,
out of his seat.
Yeah, he stood up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but Vop also, he sent that regrets thing to the media, but somehow neglected to answer Elise Schrock back in the text message since they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she make sure you link the Mirror Indy article because it explains like he didn't even bother to text her back,
Wow.
apologize or anything. He just went to the press.
Wow.
That
Wow.
man has no business being there.
You
Ever.
can't even
Ever.
handle a city
Never.
council meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's what people miss in all of this, that they have a responsibility and a job to do, y'all. Like they actually have to do things, and that they're failing at this level, and we, quote unquote, promote them. We'll continue to give them position. We'll continue to let them into these seats. We'll continue to move them up. Like he is, like when you ask people who's running for mayor, it's Vop, right? It's Vop. It's Samuel,
It's Samuel.
by the way. But no, we absolutely we need to kill all that noise now. We need
Now.
to kill all that noise right.
I mean, and
now.
if you want to know more about Vop Osley,
Samuel.
I'm gonna call him Vop.
Sorry, I forgot.
Sorry.
I'm a-
He's wild.
But
Style.
yeah,
He's
I'm
wild
Wild
style.
Style. He's
Okay.
Vop. I just don't think it means voice of the people. It means something else.
Oh, we get to that.
But if you want to know about Vop Osley, go ask the black people in his district.
That's a fact.
Facts.
Because
Facts.
we've been dealing with the same Vop that was in that council room is the same Vop when I first met him in 2015 at our quality life meeting. And I walked in and it's at Flanner House and it's a whole table. And everybody's sitting around the table. And I walk in and there's this guy in a different table and his back is to the rest of the community. And he's on a laptop. And they were like, Oh, that's our counselor, Vop Osley, and he raises his hand and gets back on the laptop. Or the same person the next year when Heron Classical Schools wanted $1.5 million out of our TIF, and they had to convene a meeting at Reverend Harrison's church. And it was all these people there, and it was other church programming going on or other programs at the church, and they were using a different room, and they were supposed to be there, and we weren't. And he goes in there and goes and quiets them kids like very disrespectfully.
Or when the Inspire House first opened, and they called me because they could never get in touch with him when they took that old firehouse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they
the 1899 firehouse.
And they were revamping it. And they called me and said, we can never get in touch with our counselor.
Wow.
And then he finally showed up and he gave it typical Sidney Poitier Shakur talk, and then he got himself on up out of there again.
Or when we went downtown, they conned us into going with all those youth downtown to clean up after the protest.
He was involved in that.
So listen,
we
so
were
he
all
came.
there.
So listen, when we got there, he gave out vests and stuff to us. Did an Indy Star article, got in his car and left.
And left.
Left.
And left.
Okay? Or
y'all Negroes can handle it.
people from his district just reached out to me within the last several months, telling me about how they were trying to get him to show up to a press conference that they did about the vandalism going on in the community and how it was increasing in Hallville. And he did not show up. Every other community leader was there except their counselor. So yeah, this is they're failing at their job and doing this.
He is notorious. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Here's another dear white people moment.
Taking off the glasses.
Take off the glasses. I've known Vop for 10 years in the capacity as my counselor. He is the first city councilor that I ever dealt with. And when I started going to quality of life plans, I met him, and he is one of the people that helped radicalize me to make me who I am today and how I clown them. And we've had some good times and bad times over the years, more bad than good. But I don't dislike him personally. I think we would be cool if he was just the architect and we talked about architecture and engineering.
Right.
He's not been a good counselor.
Right.
He is not a good counselor now, and he would make an even worse mayor for you white folks, and especially for us black people.
And that's what, and that is the point. That is the point. I'm not asking anybody. I don't hate any of these people. I'm not gonna lie to you. All these people that we criticize on here and stuff, I don't hate any of these people. I'm not personally invested enough to, honestly. But if you're crap at your job, I'm gonna say that. If it's costing people their lives or their peace or their sanity or their mental health, I'm going to say that. And that's the problem, is that we can't draw those lines. I don't care how you compartmentalize it. Oh, I just love him that's fine.
It's fine.
That's fine. You can love him as a person, but can we at least get on the same page as neither one of these fools should be mayor. Neither one of these fools should be leading people in any way. It just does not make sense.
Love someone who keeps you in poor conditions. I don't care about any of the dancing and all that ridiculousness. I don't care. That's just buffoonery to me. Because if I look and I see that my conditions are remaining or getting worse, what is there to love?
Because we're comfortable in dysfunction.
We are comfortable in dysfunction. And we are always the people who say, you're doing a good job, continue doing what you do. And we have no clue what they're doing.
No clue.
You know,
the Cupid shuffle.
I always say this.
Jumping out there like, bam.
I'm like, investigate before you congratulate.
Boy. I mean, he the mayor.
He ain't even dedicated enough to actually learn the dance. He just does whatever he wants.
But he jumped out there with alacrity. Look that word up.
You looked.
Okay.
I mean, he really didn't stop when he got out there. Like
oh man, he was.
I mean, he was into it.
Okay.
Gets an A for effort.
Does he?
Yes,
for the dances.
You gotta learn. No, you gotta learn the actual moves of the song. You gotta actually learn the Cupid Shuffle.
I mean, what you gonna spend that much time with black people to go have them teach you that stuff?
A C for. I'm not gonna say, but a C. He gets a C.
Next.
Anyway.
So, next thing. So that non-apology and all them statements, they all amount to absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero. Okay. So Number 5, ghost riding in the mayor's office. Okay.
man.
So there is, and I'm going to link it. Don't worry. There is a Substack post written about how the mayor has been so incredibly negligent as a mayor that he might as well not be there. Like there's no substantive presence of him as a mayor or in the seat. That basically he is just ghost riding the whip.
I mean, there's been a lot of discussion over the years, rumors, innuendo about even where he was during the riots.
That's a fact.
But given what we know now, I know that those rumors are false. Like, just because you didn't see him, during when the riots happened, they said he was one place. I'm not going to say where it was, but we know, like, given his love of poetry, that he was at an open mic somewhere. It was a Friday night, and they couldn't find him because he was at an open mic.
What's insane about
somewhere quoting T.S. Eliot?
What's so insane about that is the fact that so much is not said. He gets away with saying stuff, and people don't even question it. How in the hell do you get to say, when all this stuff is going on downtown, that I was working from home? And nobody says a word.
Nobody says a word.
It's like all of downtown is getting torn the hell up. And the leader of the city says, I worked from home that day. And no one says, you're a damn lie.
You know really what I think it was? I think we just didn't care enough. I think we knew that even if he was present, it would change absolutely nothing.
That is true, because he didn't have the answers. That's for sure.
So I think we just kind of felt like, who gives a fuck
That's
where he's
not
at?
leadership.
Because it doesn't matter. Exactly my point.
But I do think that the press needed to have held him more accountable over the years, and they're just now
finally
starting to ask the hard questions. Start looking at, like, the Mirror Indy when they basically fact checked his interview on Fox 59 with Russ McQuade, and it was 6 people that said, nope, the mayor's lying. The mayor's lying. The mayor's lying. The mayor's lying. Like, they put it in the article. Like,
he said he knew nothing personal. He knew nothing about her personal. He said knew nothing about the personal dealings that Lauren had. And come out.
He said Russ McQuade lied on him.
He said Russ McQuade lied on him.
Russ McQuade responded. You can check out Cameron's video.
I didn't know that.
Russ McQuade responded this morning. So he was part of the episode that we went and recorded, I think.
Russ.
Yeah, we just saw Russ McQuade.
And he was like,
sure did.
Said,
and Russ McQuade said, oh, okay, I have it recorded.
And then not only that, Russ McQuade went through the list of every public official that ever said he lied on him right in front of us.
Sure did.
He was like, this person did it. This person did it.
He named
This
Brizzy in there.
He named them all.
Yeah.
He named them all.
Well, Brizzy is
And then he leaned back in his chair like this. Blame it on McQuade.
Oh my
Facts.
No, 100% is literally what he did.
He told Russ McQuade that Thomas Cook was not. Thomas Cook was just a consultant, and he was just call him on the phone, and everybody else said no.
That's
Thomas Cook was the campaign manager in 2023.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Sure was. He was just flat out lying.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, y'all. This is when it comes to. I'll bring this back up too. When Cameron was asking us, like, well, does he need to resign because of this, because of that? There's a couple things that I want to address in this. Actually, one, there is no way for us to just remove him.
Yeah.
Or the council. And so a counselor said that in the meeting. I think it was Mascari.
Yeah.
I think who said it. But counselor said that actually in the meeting that, oh, what do you want us to do? Like, it's not like we can remove him. No, you can't. Okay. But what I want us to stop acting like is that you have zero power.
Yes.
Sure.
Because we know there are ways to apply pressure.
Sure.
To people and to educate the community and have them informed enough that we can apply our own pressure, right? Like, we know these things. And I want y'all to quit pretending like counselors saying that the mayor needs to resign is not a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Very big deal.
And silence is complicity. Like,
that's a fact. And if you're not going to, this is my thing too. If it's not a big deal, then you can say it without consequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Exactly.
it either is a big
Yeah,
deal or
if-
it's not a big
yeah.
deal, but you don't get to play both sides of the fence.
Right.
If it's not a big deal,
I can't
and you
say
have
it because
no
it's not
power.
a big deal.
if it's not a big deal and you have no power, say it.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Say it.
Because when it's all said and done, if you ride this through this city in any community, there are some communities where I see good work being done. I definitely think like once you get to like Nora and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, that's where
Of
you live
course.
out there.
Yeah. So when you look over there, it's a whole different ball game. They don't even let buildings get old. They tear them down.
Yeah.
Like they be like, no, we ain't doing that. But if you can ride and you can ride in communities where we are, the majority, I'll tell you this, those counselors should be talking.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what's the fear? It's not getting done anyway.
It's not getting done anyway.
It's not
What
getting done
is the fear?
anyway.
What's the fear? And this is the other thing too. For as much as I criticize the IBLC, y'all, they've been coming at the mayor's neck for what? At least 3 years now?
Yeah, about 3 years.
At least 3 years now. You see any consequence of that?
I'm
'Cause
sure
it can't-
there's some, but at the end of the day, I think that what people don't realize as a person who always tries to say what's on my mind, it's like if more people do it, it becomes more powerful. That's how
It does.
change
It's
takes place.
power in
Yes.
numbers.
Exactly. And we wonder why so much doesn't take place in our city is because so many people are scared.
That's, oh my God, y'all. So I've been using this analogy with everybody that I've talked to in the last several weeks about all of this stuff. And it is, I swear to God, it is like the electric fence. It is like an electric fence with a dog collar, right? And after a while, you condition that dog to where you don't even have to have the fence up.
Yeah.
You probably don't even have to have the collar no more. They're so used to not pushing a certain boundary out of fear of being penalized for it, being shocked for it, right? That they just don't even do it no more. They just don't even press the boundary no more. And what's crazy to me though, is that we are in a state, we are in a position, like not a state like Indiana, but like a state, a condition, right? Where you have people that are outside of that electric fence. We're outside the barrier saying, hey, ha, 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 we're not being shot.
Right.
There is no fence up. And they are still too scared to go beyond that fence, to press boundaries, to do and stand for what's right, regardless of the consequence. It's so disheartening to see. It's
It
the
is.
courage. I said this to somebody recently because they were talking about full transparency, because I just want to put it out there. They were actually talking about, hey, they want to help in the search to find somebody to replace Ron Gibson. And I was like,
Say
listen,
less.
say less. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But they suggested somebody, and I said, well, listen, I said, unfortunately, something that I've learned in the last several years of being involved in politics is somebody being a good person is not enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
They gotta be a strong person.
Somebody being a good, yes, they got to be courageous. They have to be able to stand on what's right because it's right, and get out there regardless of the consequences. Because if we don't have people that are both good people and courageous people, there'll be good people that'll stay silent.
It's real.
And that's what I see on our council. I think people expect us to think that because they're silent, that I just automatically assume they're a horrible person. And there's some people that have that perspective, and I respect it and I understand it.
And some of the silent
I
people
don't
are
think
horrible
so.
people too. But
And some of them are horrible people. Some of them are horrible people. But this is what I will say. I do think there are good people who are staying silent for a various amount of reasons, okay? For a ton of different reasons. And in that process, what it's teaching me is that we need some people that are willing to push boundaries. What I love, I feel like a great example of what you're seeing in a Jesse, in a Andy, they approach things completely different. We know that Andy is usually really like by the book and all that stuff. But when it comes to crunch time, right? When it comes to crunch time, this is just horrific and wrong. You see where he stood and where he stands up. And that's a real leader. That's real leadership. Okay. You don't have to be radical all the time to say, okay, listen, have some boundary. You know, there was a sign somebody was holding up in the meeting and they said 25 counselors and 2 spines.
oh
I saw
man,
that.
that
I
is
saw
cold.
that.
25 counselors, but only 2 spines.
Yep.
And that is what people are looking for right now. People are ignoring the fact that even with Trump, he could be loud and wrong, but they like that he just sticks it to people. They like that he just like forget the consequences. I'm just gonna do it. This man has 30-something felonies, so I'm gonna run for it. Who's gonna stop me? Like, he is literally playing the game of who's gonna check me.
Yeah.
And you have to check him because he's going to do it. And we are still sitting by and allowing our leaders to do the most despicable things. And they're yelling, who going to check me? And we're cowering like we have no power, no authority, and have no place to say anything.
I honestly think that we have the type of leadership that would rather people not show up.
That's a fact.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it God, I hate to do this. But it's like in church. No one wants people to read the Bible.
No, you didn't hate to do that. First of all,
he didn't hate to do that.
He did not.
He could not wait to do that.
He did not
actually.
hate to do that.
But at the end of the day, I guess
yes,
what I'm
I know what you're
saying
saying.
is.
But I agree.
It's like if you're not participating, if you're not educating yourself in order to participate, it's like that's what they're looking for. They're looking for. Hey, don't come to the meeting, man. They would rather look out at that meeting and see nobody, and unless it's something to be celebrated.
Yep.
That's all they want.
Yeah.
And they prove it time and time again. It's like they act like it's, how can I put it? Like it's just their thing, their job per se, and they don't, and I had to tell the counselor that, you don't realize you're not your voice.
That's a fact.
You're our voice.
You're our voice.
Mhm.
And at the end
That's
of the
our
day,
seat.
you're supposed to be speaking for us. And
Yes.
how the heck do you throw your voice out?
Yeah.
How do you say, man, put my voice out of here?
Yes.
That's
when you're sitting there in
unbelievable.
silence, your community is not being represented.
Exactly.
Period.
But and let me tell you what happens when they get out there and nobody comes. Like last year, the first meeting in the year, VOP wouldn't had I think jazz musicians come in and honor Wes Montgomery. You know, so we got time for it, but they don't want you speaking.
Yeah, that's it.
Or you'll be drugged out.
If it's
So,
not,
it's priorities. Like, you can't talk about Robert's Rules. Ain't nothing in Robert's Rules about a jazz trumpeter.
For facts. Or continuously bringing in Christian pastors to pray as if there's no other religion in our community.
Oh, geez.
There's that too. I mean,
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff
quit cowering behind Robert's Rules. We see you.
For facts.
We see you.
Yes.
Quit cowering behind Robert's
Yes.
Rules.
Yes. It's not. I'm over it. And we see y'all violate these kind of rules and stuff in every possible way to get the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't do it when it's time to just do something that's right. It was just the right thing to do. To let her speak, to let her complete her statement, it would have cost you an extra 15 seconds. And I promise a whole lot of heartache that's not even finished coming, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be
that
more.
15 seconds, that has to be eating him up. 15 seconds.
Fascism
15
doesn't allow
seconds.
for 15 seconds.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And it's discouraging. And I think one of the things I want to make sure that we say before we get to because it's teeing us up for the last topic. But this stuff is discouraging. But I don't want you all to just stay in that discouragement, because there are good candidates. There are good elected officials. There are people who are working really hard. And I don't want you to just think, because what I hate to hear is people like, that's why I don't mess with politics. That's why I don't. No, it's because we're in this state because you don't mess with politics.
Yeah, because they can get away with it with a few people.
Yes, because yes, we need you. We need you in this space. We need you to run for office. We need you to work campaigns. We need you to volunteer. So when we get great people up and you see great people endorse them, right? And you see great people, because definitely do your homework on them. Because like I said, they need to be more than just good people. They need to be courageous people. They need to be people that are ready to bring change. But when those people come up, make sure that you're actually involved, physically involved in making sure that they get in these seats. And then once they're there, hold them accountable. Build relationships and hold them accountable, because some of the stuff that you're hearing right now is we're actually having conversations with counselors. And it's not because we're something special. It's because we've done the work and the homework to know who they are, to reach out to them, to build relationship. I mean, and honestly, I've shown up for some. And because I have, they've shown up for me, and we talk in that way and stuff. So I just want to share that with you all, that even though this is super discouraging, I promise you, we can make this better. We said this before. 20, 30 people
Yeah.
in the right positions.
Mm-hmm.
And it could turn the city upside down. I believe in it. We're working towards it. And I just want to encourage y'all on this in that way before we get to the last funny topic. Okay. The last topic, y'all, is VOP.
VOP.
Violence, oppression, and politics. And
That's what it
while
stands for.
I would love to take credit for that title. It is not mine. It is actually from the great Jesse Brown.
Ooh, that's gonna make them
Counselor
mad.
Jesse
Ooh, that's gonna make them mad.
Brown.
man.
They're gonna have 5 people thrown out of the next meeting. If somebody they just say scream out Jesse Brown.
So Jesse, for those of you who aren't aware, Jesse will write these blog posts on his site, jesseforindy.com, FYI, in case you didn't know, and I'll also tag it. But he wrote a piece that he just released this today, right? He just released this today. And he goes through and he tells the whole story and the whole buildup of how they got to this investigation and how during this whole time, VOP tried to stop it at every turn. Samuel tried to stop it at every turn.
It sounds like Samuel needs to resign.
Boy, man, let me tell you.
Now look,
It sounds
that's
like Samuel.
that's my counselor. Go ahead.
He ain't about to defend him.
It's like the corruption that you see, and then the lack of care for people, all the attributes that you think a good leader should have, he does not.
Yeah.
It's like when you look and all of a sudden it's like you're doing all this behind the scenes stuff. You're like it's like he would have been a person shredding paper at Enron. It's like, where's the papers at?
I didn't see that one coming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't trust that kind of stuff. That's underhanded.
Well, he was picked by the mayor essentially in a moment of crisis when Stephen Clay was destroying city council, and he was the consensus. He was the one that the mayor apparently put his support behind.
And there's been, y'all. This is I'm with Greg though. It seems like he should resign
because it's coming out that he knew everything. Yeah. Because I mean, when all those people were getting thrown out of the building, they were yelling, "VOP, you knew, VOP, this is on you, VOP." You know,
Wow.
So it's like VOP knew more than he put on. And then when you find out that he was behind the scenes making moves, in order for the truth not to come out, VOP should resign.
I'll say this. There was a because I want to talk about
Do you disagree?
all this stuff.
Well,
What?
Wild Style.
Disagree with VOP resigning? We could have ran that years ago. You gonna get the same answer. No comment though.
Yeah.
So in this whole blog post, Jesse talks about how the Democrat caucus talked about how they wanted to create this investigation, right? And they talked about the things that they wanted to include in this investigation, and it said and the authority to pursue the investigation wherever it led, explicitly not stopping with Thomas Cook and his behavior. He said, "We made it quite clear how disappointed and frustrated we were to be rapidly approaching the start time of a public meeting without having a plan and without having anything down on paper about our next steps." They say President Osili comes down late with a proposal that did not in any way meet the standards that we had discussed as a caucus. And so ultimately they ended up voting for the Republican proposal for the investigation because it actually created a committee and stuff. And then they said that even though they had decided they wanted to choose a firm that had no connections to Indianapolis, he tried to choose one that was deeply connected to Indianapolis. Y'all have to read this thing, but he just goes point by point. I mean, at every single turn, he tried to fight this investigation.
Sounds like a
at every
cover-up
turn.
to me.
It sounds totally like a cover-up.
And
to
at
me.
first, I just thought he overreacted. I didn't understand that he was that deeply involved.
He
in
was
the cover-up.
highly involved.
Wow.
And I think that when all that comes out, that that people should ask for him to resign, because it shows that he's willing to go so far to make sure that the truth doesn't come out.
Violence.
That's problematic.
And they said he never showed up at any of the committee meetings. None of them, y'all. None. Zero. Okay. He didn't go to any. What else they say? Well, he said he abuses his role as president using violence to silence sexual assault survivors. And obviously he's talking about the meeting and them being dragged out by force.
He also talks about all the other people that he threw out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's thrown a lot of people out over the years.
Y'all, this is...
For little
it's a
or nothing.
article. It's a damning blog. I think that, I do. I think that, you know, a lot of people don't listen to Greg Merriweather, which is fine. But you know, it's crazy when you say these types of things a decade ago, and you say, and people, no, he's this, he's that, and I'm like, you better check, you better look, because it's there.
He said,
and it always comes out. It always comes out.
He said President Osili attempted first to kill any investigation. Then he exercised his influence to control it, using his influence as council president to redirect it towards party loyalists to limit its scope. When it was clear that the truth would still come out, he resorted to police violence in a last-ditch effort to silence survivors. Now that his tactics are exposed to the public, the cat is out of the bag. The people of Indianapolis demand an end to the culture of secrecy, intimidation, and violence. And if we are to overcome the shameful legacy of abuse in Hogsett administration, we must also reject so-called President Bob Osili. In love and solidarity, Jesse.
Man, listen here. I'm gonna say this: when you have a mayor, we talked about this earlier. When I was suspended for calling some people garden tools, and it was headline news for 5 straight days, this man said Greg Merriweather needs to. They wanted to take my job at that point. The mayor recommended me be terminated. And Chief Roach was like, that ain't gonna happen.
I love Chief Roach.
And when it was all said and done, it was like, because Chucky, Pastor Chucky, a 10-point. Pastor
Chuck Harrison.
So Pastor Chuck was like, Merriweather needs to be fired for calling us garden tools. But the mayor was adamant about me getting, and this was about a Facebook post. This wasn't me speaking publicly.
I should
This
post.
was me
I should
chiming.
show the Facebook post.
Yeah, this was me chiming in on a Facebook post, and I said
it was a comment on a Facebook.
It was
post.
a comment.
Oh, it was a comment.
It was.
Yes, I remember.
You had 2 pastors who was doing a show.
Can we just quote it? Because we always talk around it.
Sure, let's quote it. So I said that they said so on the post. You had they had a show called Standing in the Gap. Mm-hmm. That was Preston Adams and Donnell Howard. Mm-hmm. At the end of their show, people were like, well, what is 10 Point doing? I typed, walking the track like good hoes do. And at that point, everybody went ballistic. They said it was Aaron Williams who sent it. So they sent it to the mayor.
I'm sure it was Aaron.
To the mayor, to the chief, and then to the media.
Because Aaron's the type of black person that they would listen to.
Right. He rides, he puts on bike helmets and rides in Zionsville and Carmel about gun violence.
But he also has his son sitting on Trump's lap in the campaign photo.
Jesus,
yeah, holding him like,
Mary and Joseph.
Anyway, and so nonetheless, and they called him the mayor of Harville. Nonetheless, so I get suspended for 3 days. I'm gonna tell y'all the true story behind this suspension. I'm sitting with Chief Roach. He says, Merriweather, I said, just suspend me for a week. He's like, I'm not doing that. And I said, you know what? I said, suspend me for 3 days with no pay. And I said, and every black leader in Indianapolis is gonna clap. Because they like to hand over the whip. They like to see us. and at that point, Roach, and it was told to me. It wasn't Roach, but somebody else told me. They said, the only people that have ever asked for your job have been black leaders in this city. The only people. But nonetheless.
What about, you said Hogsett did?
Hogsett asked for me to get fired.
Yeah.
But they said the only people that really have forced it all the time were
black folks.
The city county council people. Nonetheless.
Tragic.
So all of a sudden, I gave my own sentence. And they said, okay, we'll do it. And then it made the media, and I said, the media is going to be cheering and everything. And they didn't know that I was sitting at the crib like, I just basically told them what to do for
They
me.
was like, look, Greg, you're going to have to grab the whip, scream really loud.
yeah. Yeah, boy.
Act like it hurts. I'm doing, Daddy.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
and that's exactly what happened. But at the end of the day, if he will hold me to a standard, folks, based on a Facebook post, how in the heck is he not holding himself to a standard? And I think that at
That's
the
a
end of the
fact.
day, he and Vop, if you can look and say that what I did was so bad to send me home, then what you need to really fall on the sword yourself. I feel that
It is-
wholeheartedly.
honestly, the best thing, the way that y'all can prove that y'all really love this city, that you really want the best for it, that you really want to be a good leader, is to leave leadership.
Step aside.
Step aside.
I mean, particularly Vop is ill-equipped. He cannot handle. He's consistently not been able to handle and
even
run
council meetings,
a council meeting. Like, imagine, like, this is not good leadership. Protesters, which is going to happen.
Protesters. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, and this is the only credit that I will give to them. In that council meeting, in the investigative, I said council meeting, committee meeting, in the last investigative committee meeting, they did, as Lauren was speaking, they didn't give her a place to speak, but they also did not put Elise out though. So Elise was just holding the phone with Lauren on FaceTime, and they just let her keep going. And then they just ended up taking, they took a little recess, let her keep talking or whatever. And then eventually she just stopped. They continued the meeting. It wasn't like nobody had to be forcibly removed. Nobody was, and they were holding signs. So I have pictures. Maybe I'll put them on here, but we have pictures. They were holding signs. They were doing all the things, and nobody was put out. Nobody was forced to remove. Sheriffs would not have to didn't have to be used. Like nothing. It all worked. And that on Monday, all of that would have been fine. Like we could have just had the meeting. They could have just spoken. Or
Vop could have handled it how a real leader would have, which would have been to have had conversations and meetings with that woman, since
That's
y'all
a fact.
misrepresented her story before the council meeting.
He was too busy shredding paper.
Oh my God.
Shred the paper.
Bring the whole file cabinet over here.
Yeah. I have no damn meeting. We about to shred these papers. What we doing?
I mean, for
Oh
real,
my
that's what
God.
Vop was on. Like any real leader with common sense, even a morally questionable leader would have handled that better. So he's incompetent and he's morally inept.
He's Enron. I'm never calling him Vop again. He's Enron.
He's Enron.
Enron Osley.
I'm gonna call him his government. Sam.
Enron.
Enron
Only
Osley.
for him. But this is all, y'all.
That's good.
This has been such a just ridiculous time with
It
all of
is.
this. A lot of us were anticipating this investigation. It's super unfortunate that it's so inadequate.
It's not over.
And
It's not over.
Far from
yeah,
over.
no, I don't think it's over either. I think I don't think it's over. 1, 2. I think we may actually see a good investigation come out of this, because I've seen
Agreed.
some of the Republican counselors say that too.
Agreed.
That we need to have a investigation.
Forensic.
Yeah, that does not limit, and
That's
that
right.
does not, because they kept saying certain things were out of scope, which was crazy. But that does not limit where they go, how deep they go, and who they investigate. Because now we need to see, especially with these text messages being left out, we need to see how deep the mayor was involved. What was he doing? And that's our business to know.
It is.
It's our business to know. So,
and they need to incriminate Samuel.
Samuel.
Yeah. If Samuel did exactly what this says he did, Samuel needs to be under investigation.
Well-
and has no business being the president of the council, let alone a counselor.
I believe. I mean, here's my thing about Vop's actions and all of this is that I wonder when he saw the report, the contract between the law firm doing an investigation is not between the investigative committee. It is between that law firm and city council, and the only person that can sign off for city council is Vop. So anytime he wanted to see that report legally, they'd have to go send it to him.
And that makes it corrupt.
Yeah.
It immediately makes it, if everything Jesse is saying is true, then that immediately tarnishes the
validity.
effectiveness.
This
is
a
Yeah, and the
cover-up.
validity of it. Yeah.
I agree.
That's insane. Okay. Well, I know there's a lot of other stuff going on across the country. Trump and Elon finally fell out. Y'all knew I was waiting for that one because I knew it was going to be like
we
Real
knew
Housewives.
it was going to happen.
And we knew it was going to be drama filled, so that was fun. And
LA.
then yes,
LA.
the protests in LA, sending all the love and support and
Yes.
stuff, everything that we can do from here to support, especially our immigrant community through this just ridiculously insane time. Last night my son is doing summer school and he's doing government. He's in government right now, and he was looking at the Nazi Germany, but then also the other one, the Cambodian one.
Oh no, the Khmer Rouge.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Khmer Rouge. Is that?
yeah,
Khmer Rouge?
yeah. I think
Khmer Rouge?
it's
Something like that.
Yeah,
I think yeah. So looking at both of them, and y'all,
it's scary.
oh, I was reading it and it was so scary because the way that they use the instability of the times and the pressure and what people were coming out of to incite violence and control using military power, like just all of the things. I was just like, yo, Trump is 1000% a watered down version of that right now.
And I mean, and
That can continue to get more potent.
And especially with Cambodia, like they went after and they killed the professors, the teachers, the intellectuals first. Like that was one of the big things that they did.
And you've seen,
It's under attack here.
yeah, RFK Jr. is getting rid of the vaccine folks at the CDC. Getting rid of what? He's getting rid of doctors.
And it's a lot of people.
He's the health secretary. Like I was just like, y'all.
A lot of us are healthy, and we may not fool with as many vaccines as other people, but I guarantee you there are people in here that you know that have to take those, or they're going to be in some serious trouble.
Agreed.
Yeah, there was I just read an article about a child who just died. Because he wasn't vaccinated, but because there was unvaccinated children around him. And then he got some kind of rare form. I can't remember what it was now, but he ended up passing away from it. And it's just like,
Sad.
y'all, it's not just vaccines aren't even just about individual health, but it impacts. That's why we require them for school and stuff like that. It impacts other people. Your decisions impact other people. I don't know where we got to this point in a society where we thought that like the decisions that we make are just ours alone and they don't impact anybody
Libertarianism.
else. Yeah, it's disgusting. That's just not the case. As long as we live and work and play and do all the things around other people, all of our decisions are going to impact each other. And so, but yeah, I was just looking at the similarities between what in the time that we're in now, and I think that we would have a more like a more modern version of these things. And I think that's what we're seeing. So instead of them being killed, they're just being fired and silenced.
For now.
Well, for now.
For
For
real.
now. But yeah, this is disgusting. I hope you guys are paying attention to things on a national level, on a local level. And obviously you can count on us to do our best here locally.
Absolutely.
I don't think anything else has happened. I don't know.
It's plenty, but
Well,
we're going to have to handle that
that's
in a future
Yeah,
episode.
Yeah.
There's too much going on.
that's a fact.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. One last thing before we go, though. So it is my 15th anniversary, y'all. That's why my shirt says level
Happy
15
anniversary.
completed.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to the love of my life, my hubby. He's the one behind the camera. So every time we're here, he's here with us, volunteering his time because he loves me that much. And I love you much, 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 much more. But 15 years, y'all, man, it's been a ride.
Congrats.
And I'm so grateful for it. And I love you, babe. Long time. Anyway, this has been another episode of the Black Briefing Podcast. Of course, I'll make sure on the final page I put all the ways that you can connect with us individually on our social media and such. But also make sure you like, share, and subscribe this episode into our channel, and make sure that you're sharing this, y'all. So we know that not everybody can just publicly subscribe and it can't be documented. I get it. But share it with some folks who can. Because if you can't, I know you got at least 5 friends that can, and that would help us a ton. And I know that you guys are already doing that. So thank you to those who are already doing that. Make sure you let us know what you want us to talk about, the way that you guys talk about things, the way that you comment when you hit us up. It helps direct our content and what we should cover, what you would like to hear our perspectives on. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
No, that was
All right.
good.
Take care, y'all.
Thank y'all so much. See ya.
Know how it is.